bodies of space aliens were recovered from the site.
Because I was a Roswell boy, a local person, and also I had the credibility of going into space and going to the moon, some of the locals came to me, and a couple of the military and intelligence people came to me. They wanted to tell their story because they couldn't tell it. They were sworn to secrecy.
After hearing numerous accounts from seemingly credible eyewitnesses, Dr. Mitchell decided to dedicate his studies to the research of extraterrestrial life.
In 1997, I was in Washington, and it was a disclosure conference. Went to the Pentagon. We asked for a meeting with the Intelligence Committee in the Pentagon. The Vice Admiral that we met with said, well, I don't know about that. And he said, I'll find out. Subsequently called and said, you were right. That program is there and did happen. I'm going to see if I can fit into it. And we got information later that he did find the people responsible for doing the current work, but was resoundingly told that he had no need to know, therefore he couldn't come in.
But why aren't UFO research findings reported to the public? Given all the government secrecy, Dr. Mitchell says he isn't surprised that people are afraid to report their stories to authorities.
Knowing many other military aviators who have had encounters with UFOs in the air and tried to talk about it, they were always debriefed by intelligence people and then told to shut up and don't say anything.
But Dr. Mitchell is, quote, not the only astronaut to question the existence of extraterrestrial life. And the late Gordon Cooper, one of the original 7 Mercury astronauts, was also convinced we're not alone. One of the themes of his memoir, quote, Leap of Faith, is his belief in extraterrestrial intelligence.
When he was at Edwards Air Force Base on duty before his selection, there was a UFO incident there that he observed, got some pictures of, and tried to report it, and did report it, but his pictures disappeared.
We reached out to NASA for comment. They told us, quote, NASA is not involved in any sort of cover-up about alien life on this planet or anywhere else in the universe. Dr. Mitchell is a great American, but we do not share his opinions on this issue. But the question still remains, are we alone? Despite the government denials, 2 of the most highly trained people who have ever traveled into space firmly believe in the existence of extraterrestrial life. Should their opinions be so easily dismissed?
The more we see the pictures from the Hubble telescope, and we see the immensity and the majesty of the universe, and the billions of stars and the billions of galaxies, and the knowledge that they have developed is really quite good. It should be convincing anybody that what they have seen is very, very powerful.
Wow, Rosebud.
That was incredible.
You cannot debunk that Chinese footage at the end.
Even if you don't understand Mandarin, you can almost figure out what they were saying. That was some sighting. And did they merge together, the 2 UFOs? I mean,
there was a huge swarm of them. It's they don't show much from the clip, but you could learn more about this if you go to YouTube and see more. It kind of looked like that.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell though.
Unbelievable. And you know, you don't know whether, because the Chinese are pretty tight-lipped about their technology, if it's their technology or if it's ET or they're working with the ETs. But there we go. Very clear, visible photo.
A great point, though. If the government's hiding this crap, I don't think they would be testing it in front of the mass public where thousands of people could see it. So that's what makes me believe that this is indeed ET technology.
Okay. That's
possibility.
Very possible, unless the scenario, like one of our viewers said, they're setting us up for the fake one, so that they could attack us, so that we could go to war. But this is in China, and I don't know if they think the same way that we do in America. So I have no idea. But very interesting, and you know the way they screen things there. I don't know. It's on the news, so I'm sure it might have been a footage that got past the government. To be out there showing something that clear.
Very credible, and we only got a few minutes left. There was one more clip I wanted to show, but we don't have time to show on the show. But for the live viewers that are watching it right now, when we're done with the show, I'll show that last clip and end it with that so you don't miss out on it.
Oh, fantastic.
Wasn't it amazing? Edgar Mitchell, one of the 12 astronauts to walk on the moon, and another astronaut that has walked on the moon is coming out and saying straight up that that there are extraterrestrial life forms out there and the government's hiding it.
And they sort of came back from their walks on the moon, some of these astronauts too, sort of demented a little bit and confused and needed time off from the public. And they went into like a hiding sort of for a while there. And I think in this case, we found out that most of them were Freemasons, so they probably somewhat knew what to expect. And some of them, maybe their consciousness, like Mitchell, was affected by this, but couldn't do anything during the time to say anything about this stuff. But being a Freemason, if he was one, since most of the astronauts are, he's taken some pretty dangerous step there to, you know, come forward and speak about this.
Right, and then the other clip we watched where that guy had his retreat place in that property, every single night for 13 years, he claims that there's UFOs out there every single night. He invites anybody out there to check it out, so take advantage of that. He invited Fox News. Fox News records a UFO. Then they have a UFO debunker, a professional UFO debunker, analyze the footage and say, oh, it doesn't look like a satellite. And then what? They go to the sites where the satellites are, because all our satellites have a GPS in them, of course. Our government knows exactly where satellites are at any time of the day, every day. He goes on the website. There wasn't a satellite in sight that night. It was crystal clear. It wasn't our technology.
Right. And it makes me wonder why he didn't check that site. How much did he check on this footage? You know, the guy that's debunking this. You know, he didn't even check to see. He's saying it could be a satellite. What a fool he looks like, because he didn't even look in the area. There were no satellites. So this, when you're so close-minded like that, you can't see beyond, you know, or they know and then just not telling us. And, you know, as long as he's getting his paycheck and, you know, what does he care?
So I believe all the astronauts who have been on the moon know about this. It's just unfortunate that most of them are, or I heard half the astronauts are Freemasons. So a lot of people cannot talk about this sort of stuff. So I would take it that Edgar Mitchell is not a Freemason because he's talking about what he truly seen. He's not covering anything up. These are the people we need to listen to.
Right. Absolutely. They've been up there. They've been at it. They know what to look for. They have all the experience. They're, you know, who else are you going to get this information from? More credible information anyway.
Right. We have like one more minute. If we have any last minute questions, me and Rosebud would love to address them. Live viewers, stay tuned. We'll show that last video clip. It was from Nick Pope clip. I don't even think you may have seen it. I just sent it to you right before we did the show. I found it last minute. I thought it was interesting because he's going to talk about that there has been more UFO sightings this year, like in the first half part of the year, than there was all year last year. So these UFO sightings are increasing in number.